Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at the most recent chapter, chapter 168 of the 7 Deadly Sins. So this chapter came a day later than usual, or around about midnight. I was asleep, so I don't know the difference. I got up this morning and it was there, pow, ready to go. So it's an interesting chapter in itself. It was interesting for me because we kind of went back to that other area called Zeldon, and we had a bit of focus on that, and then we came back to what's going on at the moment, which made it interesting because it had that kind of confirmation. We found out what other people were doing, but it's one of those where because it was that while ago and there's been a lot of interesting things happening since, I'm gonna have to go back and read it. Another interesting point to bear in mind as well is in this chapter we had the announcement that the anime is coming back for the second season. So what I will be doing is, being that I've watched the anime and read some of the manga as well for that, I'll do a like-by-like comparison of the little bits and bats that goes throughout the episodes. So look forward to that in separate videos depending on the material it covers. I know a lot of people aren't so particular with it, but it's 7 Deadly Sins is Nanatsu and Taizai, so I'm all good with it. But I'll do videos for those on a separate kind of playlist, and I'll be doing hopefully weekly reviews of the episodes as they come out and give you a like-for-like comparison as well. But without further ado, let's get into this review. So, point number 1, we start off showing Gila. She's in Zeldon. She's kind of overseeing and commenting with her subordinate about, the energies, the chi, so to speak. They get into a meeting with Lord Denzel, and they have a conversation, which is a tent now, mind you. They talk about the research tower being destroyed and how it had and housed all the magic, the kind of spells that were required to take care of the demons 3,000 years ago, and the fact that the information is still kind of safe, I guess, at this point. Arden is quite upset about Dildera being beaten up and the fact they got saved at the very last second. All interesting stuff, but I can't really comment much about this because, in honesty, it's been that long ago, I'm going to have to read over it. But I remember what happened, but I just need to know the finer details timeline wise, as I don't really want, I can't really speculate. But he wasn't happy, he wants his revenge, which sets up point number. So there's conversation about Dreyfus and the fact that he was given a curse, and basically he effectively, every time he tries hurting himself, the scar kind of just travels around, so it's kind of like a curse for him, and he's tormented by those he has killed. So he's kind of thinking to himself, if everyone's coming back, why isn't he coming back? He's basically referring to Dreyfus' older brother, and for some reason he's Gil Thunder's dad, basically, who they killed quite early on before this main story started, and he's basically contemplating that. But if they are coming back, I'm sure he'll be coming back soon for a later plot device, later plot point. But yeah, it's an interesting little topic to bear in mind. So that's point number 2. So point number 3 was probably the most important. People are making light of how powerful these 10 commandments are because they've not seen them in action. They're only basing it on what they've known and seen. And I guess the idea, the one way they want to make out the 10 commandments is they're basically in a position where they kind of are aware and above your expectations. They're practically natural disasters. So they go, when you're comparing yourself to Hendrickson being a whirlwind, they go, these lot are cataclysmic disasters. So basically natural disasters, that is the difference between them. And they talk about updates about what they've been up to. So one of the interesting updates was just 2 of them took over 9,000 souls, like immediately practically. So even if the heroes where they are now, they take care of Dolor and they take care of Loshina, they've still got these other 2 that are getting stronger by the second, absorbing souls. So as time goes on, even though at the beginning they're probably comparable in strength and might have different techniques, as the story goes on, the longer they take, the more powerful the enemy becomes, and the more powerful they're going to need to be to get to the end. Then we find out Meliodas' younger brother has basically taken over Camelot himself. He sat there looking all glum on the throne. It does make sense that basically with everyone at the actual battle tournament, there was no one really there powerful to defend it, which made it a lot easier compared to normal kind of wizards and whatnots that they couldn't do much against him, which only makes sense. So he's going to be one of the main antagonists. I'd love to see what his older brother can do, because the younger brother seems quite hot-headed towards the Meliodas. The older brother, not so much. It's quite interesting how it works out, but he plays with people's minds. So it's interesting to find out what's going to happen with that, but that's point number 3. Point number 4, they discuss the maze, and they kind of realize, okay, it was a trap, we should never have thought of going there, but obviously everybody has gone there. But they talk also about Gautha. They realize that the Gautha, the sin of lust, is actually one of the 10 commandments, or 11 if you include Dreyfus, I guess, even though he's really a substitute. But Gautha is one of the 10 commandments, and you look, oh, the 7 deadly sins bad, is he bad? And then we go to where Gautha is, and Gautha's with Jericho. I had to think about her name for a while because she's cut her hair, she looks different. But Jericho and Gautha are on one team, and Hawk and Escanor are on another team, but not buff up Escanor. Weakling. It's in the middle of the night, Escanor, the sin of the lion pride. The Leo is basically the weakest at the moment. So I don't know how they're going to make it through, because in this weak situation, what could you really do against someone like Gautha, who's not really that kind of weakness, and he's probably holding back to a certain degree, being that he's a 10 commandment. So with that being said, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Interesting. I want to see Sun Mode Escanor again, to be honest for you. Ignore the retards. Yeah, in any case, it'll be interesting to see what basically is going on with them. We'll have to wait till next week, but that's all for me today, guys. If something you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this chapter, anything I missed out that's possibly important, other than the princess. I wasn't really too interested in that, to be honest. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I don't leave a button up here, but it's hard to be a point to it. I'd be forever grateful, and you'll get to see more regular updates from me. But that's all for me today, guys. Take it easy. Peace.